What's up, guys? Classy Metal here. I've got a pretty decent sized collection update video for you guys today. Before I get into that, if you haven't checked out my album spotlight and giveaway video that I have going now, I'm going to link that up in the description. Definitely check that out. I kind of go into depth about the newest release from Transylvania Stud entitled The White Witch. Also giving away quite a few copies of the Red Queen EP on that video, so definitely go check that out if you have not done so. As I said, it will be linked up in the description for you guys. What I've got today is a stack of I haven't counted them, but it's a pretty large stack of mainly just black metal, death metal, and doom metal type stuff that I picked up from eBay quite recently. This all came from the same seller. I'm going to link up. It's with some trepidation that I'm going to link up the seller. I'll link to the seller so you can check out the auctions for yourself, because it's become a bit of a honey hole for me. I've been finding some pretty obscure and hard to find stuff at just an amazing price. This seller has worked with me greatly. He does combined shipping on his auctions, so if there's several auctions that you're looking at over a span of 2 to 3 days that are ending, he will work with you in combined shipping. I think the last order that I did was 6 or 7 CDs, and he only charged me a little over $4 for shipping, so you can't beat that anywhere, especially with the prices that some of these are going. I almost didn't want to tell you guys about the auctions just because selfishly I wanted to hang on to those lower prices for myself, but this guy has been so good working with me as far as on the combined shipping and that type stuff. I almost feel obligated to promote his auctions, because I know there's some stuff that some of you guys would like to get your hands on that's ending here pretty soon. So that will be linked up in the description. Definitely go check out Brian's auctions, and you'll be probably competing with me on some of those auctions. So I mean, you always have that going for you as well. I'm just going to jump right into this because it is a large stack. This is probably 3 or 4 separate orders that I've done through his eBay stuff going on, and it was getting out of hand. I'm like, I've got to do a video. I thought about doing separate videos, breaking it down, but I'm just going to throw all of these into one. As I said, I've listened to all of them. Some of them I've listened to a little bit more in depth than others, but I will try to just go into what I know so far about each of these. The first one is some black metal. This is Verge with their full length entitled The Process of Self-Becoming. This was released on Voidwalker Records. I don't remember the actual year when this one came out. I don't believe it's been out just too terribly long. This is kind of artsy black metal. I know that might turn some of you off. I thought it was a pretty stellar listen. I've only given it one spin, but it is something that I plan on returning to and giving another listen here in the very near future. Pretty good stuff. I got this super cheap, so it was almost a blind buy for me when I purchased it. Next up, we have some doom metal. This is kind of sludgy doom metal. A bit of death stuff going on in this as well. This was a project that was put together by 2 members of Electric Wizard, so you know the doom metal is going to be there. This is Ramesses, I believe is how you pronounce that, with the tomb. This is one of their earlier demos. I think this was released in 2005, and it was 2 of the members that left Electric Wizard a little bit earlier than that time, put this project together, put it on hold for a while, and have recently returned to this project. Pretty solid stuff. I mean, when you have members of Electric Wizard doing separate, little projects like this, the quality of the musicianship is going to be there. Very good, kind of sludgy doom metal with some death metal elements going on as well. Next up, we have some black and death metal. I believe this is out of Spain. This is Sartegos with As Fonts du Negrume. This band has released one full length. I think it came out within the last couple of years. This is an EP that was released, it doesn't have a date, but I'm wanting to say it was released around 2013. They have several little demos, EPs, and split type stuff. Only one full length, but this is a pretty solid EP. And I am, if my memory is serving me correct, I'm wanting to say this was released in 2013. Pretty solid stuff. I did enjoy this. Pretty stellar, black and death metal. A little bit more emphasis on the black metal as opposed to the death metal, but it is a solid listen. So Sartegos. I'm going to link up all of these albums. I'm not going to take the time to find streams or Bandcamp or any of that type stuff for each of these, but I will link up, if nothing else, just the band name and album title in the order that I show them, so you guys can do some legwork and exploration. If you see something that piques your interest, I know some of these titles are not in English, so I'm going to struggle with them, but that way at least you'll have the tools to expand your search right there for you at your fingertips. So next up, we have some U.S. death metal. This was released on Dark Descent Records. This is Imprecation. They released an album, I think it was last year, that was very, very stellar, just kind of dark death metal, satanic death metal. This is along those same lines. This is Satanae, Tenebris, Infinita, and this was also on Dark Descent. The one released last year was on Dark Descent as well. Pretty good stuff. The one last year was a bit more polished. I think this one was released quite a few years ago, 2013. I know that this had been out for quite a while. Still very, very solid stuff. The groundwork is there leading up to something. You know that once you hear something, even though this was 7 years ago, 6 years ago, before their previous release, you know something like their previous release was in the works, because this is pretty solid stuff here. Next up, we have some oppressive style death metal, blackened death metal. They released an album in I think it was 2018, entitled Poison Atonement, that was phenomenal. That was just heavy stuff. This is a Demonomancy, I believe is how you pronounce that, with Throne of Demonic Proselytism. Yeah. Sorry about that. This one was released on Nuclear War Now Records. Very, very good stuff. I think this is their previous full length. I think they have only got 2 full lengths under the belt. I could be wrong on that. Just dark, oppressive death metal, blackened death metal. I believe they're out of Italy. Fantastic stuff. I also picked up an EP of theirs as well. This is Rites of Barbaric Demons. There we go. So, I mean, obviously the occult type influence is there. You see it. Good stuff. If you're into that just kind of oppressive death metal, oppressive, heavy, blackened death metal, I think you should definitely check out Demonomancy if you have not done so. Poison Atonement is a great place to start with this band. I did not pick that one up in this because I already own it, but that is a great place. If you have not heard that one, I highly recommend that one as well. It was my kind of jumping point into that band, and it's what made me want to start collecting their material. Excuse me. The next one was a blind buy. I'm not super big into drone and that type stuff, but that is exactly what this is. It was $1.99, so I figured I would just throw a bid at it, see if I want it. Check it out. It's something that I'm going to have to be in the mood to listen to. I just haven't spent a whole lot of time with it because it's just not something that I've really just been in the mood to listen to. This is Tecumseh with Avalanche and Inundation. So, as I said, this is just droney, kind of doomy type stuff. Have not spent a ton of time with this. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to be able to just speak too much on it. I don't even know. It says Important Records. Never heard of that label. Not something that I can really just go too much in depth with on this point, other than just saying that I know that it's drone, doomy type stuff. So, moving on, we have this one is a bit hard to nail down to a specific genre. It's kind of blackened crust, blackened grindcore, just nasty, filthy stuff. This is Worsen with Grand Scheme. This is kind of growing on me. I didn't think I was going to enjoy this as much as I have, but as I said, it's just filthy, nasty, blackened grindcore, blackened crust stuff. Very unusual, very something, I guess, original, and it is pretty solid stuff. Next up, we have Dephosphorus with Impossible Orbits. This was released in 2017 on Self-Made God Records. Blackened death metal, more blackened death metal. I got a ton of blackened death metal in this whole lot. Pretty good stuff. I was a little bit more familiar with their two previous releases. I think the one just before this I enjoyed a little bit more, but this was a solid release as well. As I said, just black and death metal, fantastic stuff. The next one is probably the one that I've spent the most time with out of this stack that I'm showing. It was kind of one of the reasons that I put off doing this video so long, because I was giving this so many listens over and over. It's just phenomenal death metal, war themed, war driven death metal with it's got black metal patches here and there in it, but death metal is the main driving factor. I mean, the war theme is there. No one comes out alive listening to this. This is a Truppensturm with Salute to the Iron Emperors. Just fantastic war-driven death metal out of Germany. Amazing stuff. Kind of reminds me of Angel Corpse at times, but a more polished Angel Corpse, if that makes any sense whatsoever. Definitely check this one out if you have not done so. If you've never heard of this band, I know I probably butchered the name. I'll have it in the description. Go check it out. Go hunt this down. Fantastic, phenomenal stuff. Just bloody, blackened death metal. Great stuff. Next up, we have Tongue-Eating Louse with Voidwalker. This is a sludgy hardcore. I guess is out of Canada, how you could describe this. It's kind of got that a hardcore vibe going on, but it has the sludge going on in this as well. Pretty decent stuff. I haven't spent just a ton of time with this. Not too long track running time on this either, but from what I listened to it was pretty good. This was another one that was very cheap in the auctions, and I jumped in on it, and I wasn't disappointed. It was just something new to me. So sorry, throw some trash away. Bit parts. I'm about halfway through. I'm only 12 minutes into this video. I'm actually making a little better time than what I expected to do. This next one is just black metal noise. It's something that you definitely have to be in the middle. Something you have to definitely be in the mood to listen to. I know a lot of people out there, especially ones that follow this channel, probably aren't just too into noise and that type stuff. This is one that, when the mood strikes me, I'll listen to this, but I don't find myself just returning to this quite often. This was released on Profound Lord Records out of Canada. This is Wold with L.O.T.M.P. As I said, it's just black metal / noise. I mean, the noise, big emphasis on noise, because you have just the static and feedback and stuff taking place of guitars at times. It's just one of those. I mean, just something that's probably best just throwing headphones on and getting lost in the void, if that makes any sense. I guess if you listen to noise, you can get what I'm throwing there. So next up, we have Welter in Thy Blood, black and doom metal. Almost teeters on the line of funeral doom, I would say. Just slow, plodding, depressive doom metal. Very simplistic. I think that may turn some people off, just the simplicity of this, but it invokes, I guess, emotions more than anything. I think that's what they set out to do, and I think they do that quite flawlessly with this album. Just pretty dark, depressive doom. It's the only way I know to. I love the artwork on this digipack as well. I've spent a little bit of time with this album already, and it's something I think I'll find myself returning to. Maybe I'm just a simple-minded person, and the simplicity of that album really attracts me, I guess. I can't think of the word that I want to use, but it's pretty good stuff. Next up, we have some black metal. I believe this is out of, I want to say either Portugal or France. I can't remember. I think this is out of France. This is Paramnesia with their self-titled. This is a band that a black metal project that's been around for quite some time. It wasn't until maybe mid-2000s that they actually started recording their material. They were one of those black metal bands that just strictly played their music, and they weren't super big on the recording. This is a 2-track release, but each track is over 20 minutes, and it almost feels like there's several tracks within each track, if that makes sense. It's a bit of a chore to listen to this. I think it's something you just have to put your mind to listen to. I found it enjoyable, but it's a bit all over the place. I don't think this band cares whether it's hard for you to listen to or not. I think they're just one of those black metal bands that does what they want to do, writes what they want to write, no apologies, no F's given type stuff. But it is pretty good. I did enjoy it. It's just one of those that you have to set your mind to listening to that. You're not going to have just memorable. You're not going to, like one track. There's only 2 tracks. They're 20 minutes. You're going to remember passages from each track, but for saying that a certain track on that is memorable is a bit of a stretch. Next up, shout out to Justin Stubbs here on YouTube. These are both they're both the same band. It's one of his many projects. I mean, he's got his hand in so much stuff. His Prime Directive YouTube stuff is phenomenal. The dude's collection is amazing. He's got some obscure stuff. He's got some just fantastic stuff, hard to find stuff in his collection. Definitely check his channel out if you have not done so. He's in he's got his hand in so many bands. Father Befouled, I know, Encoffination, what I'm going to show. It's just like a laundry list of bands that he's been a part of. This is the release that came out last year in 2019. This is Encoffination with We Proclaim Your Death, O Lord. This is death metal, doom death, I would say. Very slow, methodical death metal, dark. Some more of that oppressive style death metal. I've given this one a couple spins already. I found it to be very enjoyable. I think I ended up liking it more than the other. I thought the other CD that I bought of this band was the reason why I wanted to pick these up when I saw them going, and I think I've turned out enjoying this newest release more than the predecessor. So that's just how it goes sometimes. Fantastic stuff there. Fantastic stuff. The other is Hear Me, O Death. And this is another solid. This has a bit more doomy vibe. This is just more of a methodical, slow death metal, crunching death metal type stuff. Solid stuff. I'm a huge advocate for this project. If you haven't checked out Encoffination, they've grown on me quite a bit over the last very, very short period of time. In a short period of time, I found myself being more enamored with this project. So definitely check them out if you have not done so. I've still got a small little stack here to get through. Next up, we have Symptom with Caverns of Katabasis. I'm going to say some more doomy type stuff, depressive type doom metal. Kind of get lost within those. I mean, it's like when I'm listening to this, I feel like I'm lost. I think Caverns of Katabasis is a perfect title for this because it's something that I could just listen to. The hopelessness of being lost, like deep under the earth, is definitely prevalent in that release. Next up, we have some death metal out of Portugal. This is Pestifer with Execration Diatribes. Amazing release. If you have not listened to this, do yourself a favor and do that now. Amazing death metal. Slipcase came in perfect. And another thing, this seller, man, he packages up your stuff solid. You're not going to have to worry about stuff arriving busted or that type deal. Straighten the CD out for you guys. Amazing stuff. If you're into this just murky death metal, in your face, kick you in the teeth death metal, give Pestifer a listen because I think you'll enjoy it. It's one of those bands I think has been overlooked and unrightfully so. The next two are from the same band. This is some black metal. The first is an EP, and it was only like 11.5 minutes long, but I've been meaning to grab this for quite some time. This is Shrines of Insaniblis with Tombs Opened by Fervent Tongues. Check out the YouTube stream for this one if you haven't listened to this. Amazing stuff. I mean, it's just chaotic black metal, but it's so well crafted. It's fantastic stuff. I know Wyatt over on Wyatt XM channel. I know that he's been an advocate for this release for quite some time. I believe he was the reason why I first checked this out. There's the actual disc on that. And I fell in love with it then. It's been in my cart several times on Discogs. I've been in my watch list on eBay as I buy it now. Saw it come up in this auction. I think it was like $3 or so. I was like, yeah, I'm going to bat on that one, and I won it. I also picked up their debut full length. This is also Shrine of Insanabilis with Disciples of the Void. I want to say this band's out of Italy. I could be wrong on that. I am wrong quite often, more and more so these days. It feels like just only so much information can go in, and then when you start learning new things, you start losing old things. So this is another solid release. Just chaotic black metal. Just the atmospheres that are created by this band are amazing. So definitely check them out as well. I know I'm saying that on almost every band or project that I'm showing on this, but for me, this is one of the greatest little scoops and pickups that I've done in a while, as far as just the material, the quality of the material, and how it appeals to me. Just these, I guess maybe 3 bundles of CDs that I bought all together, just fantastic stuff. Next up, we have Horns with Enshine Trubin. Yeah, Kurzlik's not gonna. I guess I did butcher that. This was released in 2011. I believe this is out of Sweden. Black metal. I know the L.O.T.M.P Records is out of Sweden, or was. I'm not even sure if they're still around anymore. This was limited to 999 copies. Pretty good stuff. I mean, just as almost everything that I'm showing here. These were. I think these were some tracks from this project that were recorded over a period, I think, of about 8 years, and but somehow they almost flow perfectly as an album, if that makes any sense whatsoever. Good solid stuff, good black metal. Definitely check that out. Last 2 we're getting down to. This one I thought was going to be black metal, and it absolutely was not. It's kind of ambient funeral doom. It's 3 tracks long. And it's self-titled. This is Mouse Sanctum. And I could not find just a whole lot about this project. Out of Canada. And that's about all I've got. It's on Iron Bonehead Productions. 3 tracks of doom metal. Ambient doom metal. And it is just crazy, crazy stuff. It's very depressive. The tracks are The Father, the Son, The Shattered Spirit. So, I mean, you got that right there kind of lets you in a little bit of what you're getting yourself into. Listen to this. Not going to be for everybody, but it is pretty good. I haven't spent a ton of time with it. I gave it one listen and felt very depressed after I listened to it, if that makes, and not in a, because I didn't like it. It just, it plays on your emotions, I guess. And then last but not least, we have Gateway with their self-titled release on Hellthrasher Productions. This is some more kind of doom metal, black and doom. A very slow. I guess it's got some doom death. It teeters very, very close to funeral doom at times. I would say it's probably more in the death doom as opposed to the black doom. Misspoke a little bit. I believe this is out of Belgium. It's just doom metal, medieval sounding doom metal, like medieval torture sounding stuff. I don't know. They can capture some pretty good soundscapes, some pretty good despair on this. I'm at the point now where I'm mentally blown and vocally about gone as well. But I was super stoked with all of that stuff. As I said, I'm going to link that seller up in the description so you guys can get in on some of these fantastic deals that have been going down as well. If you're going to pick up more than a few things, definitely message the seller ahead of time. Let him know that you're going to, and you can send an invoice. You can send a request for a total after the auctions are done, and he will combine your shipping for you. He's been fantastic working with me on the shipping. Does not try to get over on you, that type stuff at all. Has some obscure and some amazing stuff. There's some stuff ending, I think, today that some of you guys might be interested in. There are some ending in about later on in the week. that I am bidding on. So I mean, if that floats your boats, you just want to knock some stuff that could potentially be in my collection out and put it in yours, definitely go do that. So that's all I've got for today. I think Metalhead Box will probably be here tomorrow or Tuesday, so that video will be up at the beginning of this week. Definitely get in on the Transylvania Stud giveaway. Definitely check out White Witch. As I said, I've got a stack of Red Queen EPs that I'm going to be giving away to you guys. So check the description. Check that out. That's all I've got for today. Stay classy. Stay metal. I will see you all very soon. I promise.